2 minutes to broadcast. One minute till broadcast. Thirty seconds to broadcast. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Begin transmission.
Live from the Hoosier Media Studios. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier on the Hoosier Media Network.
Boy, I have to say, what a night it's going to be. I did not realize until just a little while ago that there is a presidential debate tonight for the Democrats, the last one until the primary vote. Not only is there a primary debate going on tonight, but it's going to be a brutal one, as only 6 of the numerous unlimited plethora amount of candidates ended up making this one based on their polling numbers and based on their fundraising numbers that they've been able to gauge. I followed Tulsi Gabbard on social media, and she was doing a big push this last few days, and this last week, saying we need to hit $1 million in fundraising, and she was like $100,000. So she had a ways to go. Obviously, she didn't make it because the ultimate list of presidential candidates for the Democrat side are lined up tonight for CNN at, what is it, Drake University in Des Moines, Iowa, and it's going to be the final countdown, which is really the candidates that will be here for the long haul. Is let's get our game show music on, shall we? Because I'm telling you, this is going to be huge. It's going to be big league, let me tell you. I guess that's not going to work. That's okay. Or it's just too loud because I can't obviously fade that as of right now. But here's the game show. Who's going to be your Democrat presidential candidate? The 6 that made the list tonight, if you're going to watch us, which is why I know if we have smaller numbers, which I don't think we will because we've been blowing it out of the water every day, which is really awesome between everything we're doing, Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Twitter, Twitch, all over social media, online at HoosierReason.com. We have the Podbean app up and streaming live as well, which people are jumping on there. So between all of it, we have a substantial amount of listeners, which is really cool. Plus the number of downloads is going up, subscribers on the Podbean, and the podcast is up. And regardless, anyways, with all of that, if there's a dip listening live today, it's probably because there are a number of people watching the debate tonight, right? Yeah, that's funny. So, anyways, there are 6 candidates that are going to be on the CNN debate stage tonight, including Joe Biden, Pete Buttigieg, Amy Klobuchar, Bernie Sanders, Tom Steyer, and Elizabeth Warren. Now, I'm pretty much okay with all of them on there because it's okay. There's no surprises, there's no big crazy things going on with most of these candidates. But it is surprising that they've limited it down to 6, and it is going to be the ultimate bloodbath. Obviously, it's the last debate before the primary vote for the Democrats, which means they have to find a way to stand out. Bernie Sanders been pretty much topping in the polls. Joe Biden creeping up a little bit, as Uncle Joe, creepy Uncle Joe does, and especially when it comes to the polling in Iowa. So we'll see how that goes tonight. We'll maybe try and play some of that if it starts while the show's going on. If not, we'll do some recaps of that tomorrow, as there is some big stuff going on right now between the debate, between what's going on in Iran, between, oh, that's right, Nancy Pelosi in the House of Representatives voting to move the impeachment stuff over to the U.S. Senate so they can begin their trial here in the next few days, and we'll see how that actually goes. You know, the Republicans actually had almost of a good idea trying to threaten the House and Nancy, but it kind of didn't work. Because, of course, Republicans, when it comes down to actually having a backbone and having a spine, many of them actually cave and actually don't do what they need to do. Like, oh, I don't know, Mitt Romney or Lisa Murkowski or Susan Collins or any of the moderate, wishy-washy blue dog Republicans, the rhinos, as we like to call them, that actually aren't doing what they say they're going to do as Republicans and conservatives. So, because of them, we didn't have quite the number of votes that we could have to dismiss the articles of impeachment in the trial if the House didn't actually do what they needed to do. So we tried. I guess it worked because they're voting on it. The House is voting on it tomorrow to move everything over to the Senate, so maybe it worked. But Mitch McConnell also said, yeah, well, we just don't have the numbers to do that. So we'll get to all that today as well. Big show. We got a lot of stuff going. Plus, I'm excited. Let's bring our guest onto the show that I've been excited to chat with him. He is the host of the podcast Dead America, as he talks many of the current events and talks about some great stuff and ways that we need to really save this nation because we are in a world of hurt and we've lost our way in many aspects. And I'm really excited to have him on the program to talk about all of this and more. It's Mr. Ed Waters on the line with us here. Ed, what's going on, brother? How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful. I want to thank you for having me.
Hey.
It's a pleasure being here.
Hey, well, I appreciate you coming on the show very much. First off, the issues when it comes to the election, when it comes to the impeachment, I've been asking this to a lot of the guests, but when it comes to the impeachment, is it going to have any effect on the election? Is it going to either rally the Democrat base, or is it going to hurt Donald Trump in his supporters in any way, shape, or form, or is this kind of a lame duck situation?
Well, you know, the whole situation with this impeachment, I think it's a waste of time, a waste of taxpayer money, and I really believe that it's already dead before it even hits the Senate. So I'm interested to see where it goes. You know, you never know where it's going to go because there's always that possibility that it could extend out further. And I just think that that's going to hurt not only the Democrats, but it could hurt America.
Sure.
And that's concerning to me.
It really is. Now, the moderate Republicans that I mentioned, the ones that have, I mean, it's no shocker, ever since Trump got into office, whether it's the shutting down of the government with the spending, whether it's the ICE issue and the Dreamers issue, whether it's taxes and trying to actually lower taxes for every American, high income, low income, middle income, whatever you want to have, these same Republicans that call themselves Republicans day in and day out, Lisa Murkowski, Susan Collins, now Mitt Romney that he's gotten in there as well, who's an avid Trump hater and has advocated to try and get him out and has talked nasty things about him. And there's some others as well, but many of them have left. Jeff Flake, for example, John McCain, who has passed away, he was an avid anti-Trumper. But these moderate Republicans that are still in there, are they going to rattle the cage here? Are they going to let this process run smoothly and then maybe vote with the rest of the Republican Party to say, you know what, the trial is a scam, the impeachment thing's a scam, we're not going to remove the president, especially going into an election year like this?
Well, really, in my opinion, I think that if they don't come in line with the party agenda on this, it's really going to hurt them in the long run. So ultimately, they're going to want to come back in line with the Republican Party and start supporting Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. We need that support, and we need people to rally behind the president and get in line, not oppose, because as we know, any divides causes ripples And we don't need that in this election.
No, and the Republicans are very good at doing that for some reason, which I just don't understand. Here's the crazy part about it is that, and even saw this in the last election as well, the midterm elections 2 years ago. I was helping out some state legislators in Kansas when I lived there, helping out with our congressman in that district. And the odd thing was that when we went to go knock on doors to make sure people go out and vote and talk about the issues and what's troubling you and what's concerning you, what can we do? It seemed like the majority of the voters were concerned, are you a Trump supporter or is the candidate a Trump supporter, and will we be working with Trump? Like, Trump had an impact not only at the federal level, but he's had that impact at local levels as well, the grassroots campaigns that were going on with even county commissioners in areas all over the nation, that he's had that much of an impact. So you're right, if the Republicans try and balk and some of these moderates go against Donald Trump in this election, even though that they've done a very good job playing the moderate candidate even in their districts, that could potentially very well hurt them, wouldn't it?
Oh, yes, of course. And we're seeing that, of course you're going to see that initial burst out of candidates to oppose Donald Trump in the beginning, before the general election, of course. It always happens. So that, I think we need to just play out as it goes. I don't think anybody's going to hurt Donald Trump in the primary.
Sure.
So the quicker they come in line and get behind Donald Trump, the quicker we can move forward with the party agenda.
Sure. No, that's very true. We're talking with Ed Waters. It is Dead America, the podcast, deadamerica.website, deadamerica.website. You can go to and check out all the information in the podcast. You talk about, and I've listened to a couple of the episodes on your podcast, and it's really intriguing, good stuff, and the importance of it is astronomical, is that you had a segment on there that talked about Abraham Lincoln. As the times have changed, and as the nation has evolved to the point that we've gotten to today, the division that we're seeing, the potential that everybody that's predicting right now it's going to be a Donald Trump versus Bernie Sanders general election, capitalism versus socialism, the butting of the heads of the ultimate ideologues when it comes to this mindset, the division that we've had in this nation is deeper than I think it's ever been before. Let's reference it back to like Civil War era times. Do you think that it's more divisive now than what it was before? Obviously, we haven't actually divided the nation and tried to start our own and actually have, shooting and killing people. But is it about to get to that point? Are we going down the same road and are we repeating history? Or do you think that we can finally come together at some point after these elections?
Boy, Andy, that's a big question, and it's a very concerning question. Mm-hmm. With the polarization of this nation, we are finding that, and we've got to realize, back during the Civil War in the 1800s, they did not have the internet. So with the advent of the internet, we have this mass communication that just lets us consume and spew our opinions like nothing before. And back in the day, they used to just rally in beer halls and, back alley places.
Sure.
Well, now there's an internet, and we are seeing not only Americans getting involved, but we're seeing these foreign entities climbing on the internet and getting involved that way.
Sure.
So there's a big chance that we could see a Civil War action, that's for sure. But I think with Nancy Pelosi backing down the way she did and the Democrats kind of peeling back a little bit,
yeah,
I think that's going to help calm the waters a little bit. So it's interesting where it's going, and I am very interested in watching it. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm curious. I wonder why they did it. And I'm first curious why not only they're handing it over now, but why they tried to stop it. I know that they had their Fast and Furious. They wanted to rush through the system and actually try and impeach him. They did it before Christmas. Hoorah. That was their own Christmas gift to themselves. But then they held on to it, and they didn't want to because they wanted to manipulate the system on the Senate side. but now all of a sudden they're turning it over. Is it because of the threat that Mitch McConnell made? Because to me, that was an attempt at trying to be strong-willed, as the Republicans have tried to be in the past, but those few moderates, of course, ruined that. Or is it just because there are so many in the Senate that are trying to run for president that they don't want to be tied up with this for very long because they got a campaign trail to try and run through?
Well, that one I could not even answer, Andy. It's interesting. I think that Nancy Pelosi and the crew found themselves in a predicament, and they saw the political weight really starting getting heavy, so they had to backpedal. That's all I could say on that. It's a political election year, and it's going to be all about hype and getting their message out. That's for sure. So it's hard to say what's going to happen with that. The Democrats are sure barking up the wrong tree, and more division is not what the nation needs, that's for sure. So we need those Democrats that are doing these irreversible damages to the nation to really think about what damage it is causing, and is the limelight really worth it?
Well,
I really think this was a show, per se.
Sure. No, you're absolutely right. I mean, it definitely was a show, and they're trying to drag it out too long. And the show that they thought was going to be a big hit ended up bombing in the ratings. Even the Democrat Party wasn't rallied. The voters weren't rallied or weren't enthused by the long, drawn-out process that this had because they got numb to it. And now they're trying to I don't get it, and maybe that's just the way a progressive thinks, but the fact that they used the same arguments with what they used in 2016 to lose the election is what they're trying to use now, and thinking it's going to win by calling Donald Trump a racist, saying that he's colluding with somebody, saying that he's colluding with Russia or Ukraine or whoever, trying to call him a Nazi. I mean, this hate that they've spewed then is exactly the same thing that they've talked about for 4 years, and they're trying to do again and expecting it to win. Their voter base is tired. They're fatigued. They don't want to do this any longer, and they really want to carry this into, hey, let's win the 2020 election so we can come in and try and kick Donald Trump out after all this is said and done. Like, I don't know how that's a winning argument.
That's right. And that's for sure. And I was really wondering, is that the purpose of them holding these articles back for a later exposition, or, it's hard to say. Nancy Pelosi seems to be on this power struggle, and they've been butting heads with Donald Trump and making it so hard for the man to complete his job. But you know what? Just like always, Donald Trump steps up and takes the reins, and he moves forward.
Yeah.
And that's what this nation really needs. And I am impressed. The rhetoric that them Democrats spewed the last election cycle really made me not vote for Donald Trump, because I was falling into that little bit of nonsense.
Sure.
But the man stepped up, he won, and he did as he said. And I'm telling you, that means a lot. I have not seen that in so many years. Actually, I'm proud to be American again because of Donald Trump.
I think a lot of people feel that way for sure, which is why we had an insane turnout. And I have to admit, I was not a Donald Trump fan in the primaries either. I was a Ted Cruz guy. I love him talking about the Constitution gave me goosebumps every time, and I enjoyed that because no one does that very much anymore, and Ted Cruz had that, and I still love Ted Cruz to death. But
That's right.
I did vote for Trump because of the pairing up between him and Hillary, and then we can see where it came from there, and now we obviously support him nonstop. Let's take a break here real quick. Ed Waters, Dead America is the podcast, deadamerica.website. You can check his stuff out. When we come back, I want to talk about some of this, and I want to get your thoughts on the division even within the Democrat Party right now, the socialist fringe that's trying to rise up versus the old guard of the Democrats trying to keep things going as it has been, and where this is going to lead the party itself. going into not just this election, but even beyond that, and where we're going to go from there. Plus, I want to talk about your predictions when it comes to the debate tonight as well with the Democrats on CNN. I can sum it up for you right now.
You are fake news.
Yeah, that's right. So we'll do some of that when we come back. Hey, everybody, do me a favor. Go to HoosierReason.com. You can find the live stream. We have the chat up and running. We also have the Podbean stream up. If you want to call into the show, you can. You can go on there. Just download the Podbean app onto your smartphone. You can live stream us that way. You can even call into the program that way if you'd like to as well. Plus, I'd really like you to share the YouTube feed. We have the YouTube live stream going. You can either go to YouTube and find it. You can also go to HoosierReason.com. Subscribe to the YouTube page because we do want to focus some attention on that one. Share it out, blast it out, get some people to follow us and watch all the videos that we have on there because we have a lot of them, and we'd love for them to check it all out. All right, got to take a break. Back after this, it's The Voice of Reason here on the Hoosier Media Network. It's been a long, fun, nerve-wracking, and exciting journey to relaunch the program as an independent entity. Now we've launched our very own Hoosier Media Network to give you more content, more shows, more talk, on even many more different topics as well. We now have full reign to help fight for constitutional principles, traditional values, and even just individual improvement. But we need your help to reach more people. If you own a business or you want to help the show in any way, we're excited to work with our partners to take your message and ours to the next level. Together we can educate, entertain, and bring wisdom and information to those who want it and to those who possibly need it. Let's fight for what's right together. Email us today at HoosierMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Again, if you're a business owner looking to get your brand out or someone that just wants to help support the cause, we want to support you and support that cause as well. Email us at HoosierMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Again, HoosierMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Also, for more information, content on the show, or to reach us as well, go to HoosierReason.com. Again, HoosierReason.com. Hey, it's Andy Hoosier. As the show keeps growing, I want to make sure each and every Hoosierholic stays in the loop. That's why you need to check out HoosierReason.com. Catch the weekly blog informing you on the latest news of the show, upcoming projects, and more. Plus, you can watch live shows, listen to all the podcasts, find affiliates of the show, catch special features, and a heck of a lot more. Plus, make sure to subscribe to our site and become an official Hoosierholic. Get your monthly newsletter, latest news about the show, and recaps of current events all right to your email. It's the fastest growing show in America. Don't miss a beat. Go to HoosierReason.com. Again, HoosierReason.com. Hey, it's Andy Hoosier. Whether you watch the show or not, make sure to check out our daily feature every day on all of our social media platforms, plus broadcasted daily on KGPT TV in Wichita, Kansas. It's your daily commentary on current events statewide, nationally, and more, discussing topical issues, constitutional debates, your moment of satire, and a lot more. For information or to follow us each and every day, go to HoosierReason.com and follow us on all of our social media sites, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Minds.com, and Instagram, all at Hoosier Reason. It's a minute of reason that you need in your life each day. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do. Hey, miss a show? Don't worry about it. You have plenty of ways to watch, learn, and be entertained while enjoying The Voice of Reason anytime that you want. And here's how to do it. First, become a Hoosierholic by going to HoosierReason.com and subscribing to the site newsletter to stay up on the latest. Second, subscribe to the podcast. Under the show podcast tab, click on the link to the Podbean site and subscribe. You'll get notified anytime new audio pops up. Plus, if you have iTunes or Spotify, you can subscribe to The Voice of Reason on those as well and have the shows automatically downloaded to your device. Third, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go to youtube.com and search my name, Andy Hoosier, and subscribe to the page. There you can follow all of our live shows, posted videos, and more. All the links and info are at HoosierReason.com. Again, HoosierReason.com.
Bring some reason into your day. The Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
Buddy, that's what I'm talking about. Hey, welcome into The Voice of Reason. It is the show here on the Hoosier Media Network. We're all over social media, Facebook Live, YouTube Live, all that good jazz. Check it out, HoosierReason.com. We have on our guest line here, we have the host of the podcast, Dead America. We have Ed Waters chatting with us, and it's a great conversation to talk about the importance of what's going on. Ed, as we teased before the break, the division in the Democrat Party right now, the Bernie Sanders socialists, the Democratic socialists, and the mainstream blue dog Democrats, which I would say is like Joe Biden he says he's a socialist. He believes in the Medicaid for all. He believes in all the social programs and everybody else because he's trying to fit in and be cool. But at the same time, he's had 30, 40 years of being a politician where he really hasn't supported all of that, at least openly, because he has been part of the Democrat Party. Are we seeing, and now we see even like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, where she is refusing to pay the DCCC, the campaign committee for the Democrat Party, because she doesn't like them and she thinks that they are not supporting progressives, when she owes like $150,000 or something ridiculous to them, and they're not very happy with that. Are we seeing the crumbling of the Democrat Party now, or is this just an evolution of the party for them to really transform into what they want to be?
That's a good question right there, Andy, because, we have been seeing this rift within the Democratic Party, I believe, since the 2020 election and when Al Gore lost to Bush. I really think there's still sore spots within all of that coming way back to the election with Al Gore.
Sure.
So when we look at that, there is always this possibility. I was thinking about that earlier this morning, actually, with this global warming and all of this green push. There is a possibility that the love of all of that, is there a possibility we see Al Gore coming back into the scene for a savior type, if you will, for the Democratic Party? Because really, everyone on their seat that they have high and mighty right now, I don't believe any of them has a lick of a chance against Trump.
Sure. No, that's true. I mean, right now, every poll, now the polls you take with a grain of salt, but even them show that it's a close race for all of them and Trump winning slimly. But, I mean, the polls even show that he had a 2% chance of winning on election day last election, so we could see how well that actually worked out for them. So you're right, they don't have it. And I tell you, even though there's this growing quote-unquote support for socialism and Bernie Sanders, if we do a head-to-head capitalist versus socialist ideological election between a Donald Trump and a Bernie Sanders, he would get absolutely obliterated because people do not want socialism in the nation. They don't, even if people are like, oh, you don't quite understand what it is, we know exactly what it is, and we don't want it because it's bad, and we know that what it does for a nation. Is there a history of this in the Democrat Party? I mean, you go back to like the FDR times, and he was a socialist, a communist. He believed in all these social programs. He really got us on track for the New Deal back then. He spent a heck of a lot of money. He started the social programs during the Great Depression, and he had talked about the fact of continuing on a legacy and an agenda in politics. Even when you're gone, we need the bureaucratic state to continue it on, so that way when politicians fade in and fade out, we continue to move in that direction. And if people saw socialism up front, they would not agree with it, but we have to integrate it slowly in society to where they don't recognize it. But I mean, does it go back even farther than that? How long has this actually gone on where we've begun to be the frog sitting in the pot boiling when it comes to a socialist mentality in the nation?
Yeah, well, you can actually think about Woodrow Wilson also. I think his mentality was kind of a socialistic or communistic, if you will. But I don't know. The New Deal, though, when that came in, that for sure changed the mindset of America and the behavior of America, because Hoover did not want to push this agenda where the state is going to be the babysitter. Right. He wanted Americans to pick themselves up and take care of themselves. And that Great Depression kind of made it where that rhetoric for FDR, when he came up with the New Deal and came up with all of these social programs, it really changed America. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting when we look at those type of programs that were initiated back there. In a way, we needed the reform to grow America.
Sure.
But yet, what did it do to America? That's the big question. And we're still seeing ripples because of that.
Sure.
And we're seeing the welfare system grow out of that. And it's getting out of control. Myself, I believe we need to get back to the system of letting the church do the charity work and get back to the state performing the security and harmony of the union.
Now, wait a second. What a wild, crazy concept. Getting the states back to have their sovereign state powers, which, remember, I mean, we are the United States of America because we agreed to a compact that the states agreed to say we will give up limited power for the federal government for us to have a unity. At the same time, though, we're a state, we are a sovereign state that had the ability to actually agree to a constitutional power at the federal level. We've completely gone astray, and we've done that backwards. Now, you go down to the street and do, a questionnaire on the street to somebody, and we ask who has the more power, the federal government or the state, or which way should it be? They have no idea. They think the state, if they say that the state, or if you mention to them the state should have more power than the federal government, they would lose their minds. Their head would burst because they don't understand that concept anymore.
That is very true. And a lot of people don't dig in and understand what the 10th Amendment means to the Constitution. And when we understand that the Constitution is the supreme law of the land, but anything that is not outlined within it always reverts back to the states or the people. And that's big. And there's a lot of rift in the system about that very thing right now.
Mm-hmm. There is. Here's a mind bender for you, and see if you can understand this one. I was on a debate with someone on social media a while back. I don't know, this is probably 6-8 months ago, and we had talked about the 10th Amendment, and we had talked about the duties of the federal government. This was, of course, a Bernie Sanders, socialist kind of supporter, and I had mentioned that the Constitution gives very, very specific powers to the federal government in each branch of the government for the separation of powers, checks and balance systems, and what they can use tax money for, what they're allowed to do, which essentially is to make sure there are no monopolies and to lightly regulate the interstate commerce to make sure that nothing shady is going on there, and for national defense and for foreign diplomacy, which includes immigration. Those three, that's about it. After that, it says everything else goes back to the states. No healthcare, no education, no energy, no environmental crap. None of it should be done at the federal level. And their response was, well, yes, it was specific to those, but then they created the general welfare clause to where it may be very specific for those things, but then anything else that they deem necessary and important, we now have just open door for the general welfare clause. And I don't know why they would say it's so limited, we don't want you to have a whole lot of power, but by the way, here's this back door to do really whatever you want to in the sense of the general welfare. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, we as Americans have fallen into this easy system. We don't want to get involved. We want it now. We want it quick. We want it easy. We want it free. And we don't care where the money comes from. Just make it happen.
Right.
And that is a very deadly outlook to have. And, empires crumble because of financial overstepping. Mm-hmm. We have to really understand where the money comes from is out of your very own pockets.
Yeah.
So we're hurting ourselves when we initiate more and more of these social programs, and always these social programs that are determined to be socialist, they're going to end up bringing in this communism. And if we're not aware of these limits and restrictions on the federal government,
sure,
well, they're always going to gobble up more and more. As much power as the federal government can get, they're going to take.
Well, that is true. And I want to continue that thought when we come. We got to take a break here real quick, but when we come back, I want to ask you, with the direction that we've gone and where we're going, trillions of dollars in debt, we have the largest growth of GDP that we've seen really ever. Lowest unemployment rate ever. We have more jobs than ever right now. We're seeing a 4.5% GDP growth each and every year under Trump, but we're still trillions of dollars in debt and going further and further in. Is it too far gone? Is your show, Dead America, is it dead already and that we just don't recognize it, or is it salvageable? I want to do that when we come back here. Ed Waters, he is the host of Dead America podcast. You can visit him online at deadamerica.website. Again, deadamerica.website. I want to do that when we come back. But do me a favor, go to HoosierReason.com right now, HoosierReason.com. You can watch the live stream if you click on the Listen Live tab. Also, go on there and become a subscriber. You'll see on the main page, if you scroll about halfway down, you'll say become a Hoosier-holic. Just type in your email address, send it in, submit it, and you'll get the monthly newsletter from us talking about different issues. Updates about the show. You'll get the weekly email talking about our guests for the next week, all that good jazz. Stay in tune with the show because we are growing right now, which is really awesome. So go to HoosierReason.com, become a subscriber to the newsletter and to the email. Become a Hoosier-holic, baby, as we got a lot of things rolling right here. It's The Voice of Reason here on the Hoosier Media Network. Stay right here. Hey, miss a show? Don't worry about it. You have plenty of ways to watch, learn, and be entertained while enjoying The Voice of Reason anytime that you want. And here's how to do it. First, become a Hoosier-holic by going to HoosierReason.com and subscribing to the site newsletter to stay up on the latest. Second, subscribe to the podcast. Under the show podcast tab, click on the link to the Podbean site and subscribe. You'll get notified anytime new audio pops up. Plus, if you have iTunes or Spotify, you can subscribe to The Voice of Reason on those as well and have the shows automatically downloaded to your device. Third, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go to youtube.com and search my name, Andy Hoosier, and subscribe to the page. There you can follow all of our live shows, posted videos, and more. All the links and info are at HoosierReason.com. Again, HoosierReason.com. Hey, it's Andy Hoosier. As the show keeps growing, I want to make sure each and every Hoosier-holic stays in the loop. That's why you need to check out HoosierReason.com. Catch the weekly blog informing you on the latest news of the show, upcoming projects, and more. Plus, you can watch live shows, listen to all the podcasts, find affiliates of the show, catch special features, and a heck of a lot more. Plus, make sure to subscribe to our site and become an official Hoosier-holic. Get your monthly newsletter, latest news about the show, and recaps of current events all right to your email. It's the fastest growing show in America. Don't miss a beat. Go to HoosierReason.com. Again, HoosierReason.com. Hey, it's Andy Hoosier. It's a new week, and we have great guests lined up for you right here on The Voice of Reason. Tune in each day, Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time for the guests, commentary, and great callers right here. On Monday, it's Tracy Maxfield, author of the book Escaping the Rabbit Hole, talking about mental health, suicide prevention, PTSD with our soldiers, and maybe some of the mental health issues that society embraces for political gain. Plus, on Tuesday, it's Ed Waters, host of the podcast Dead America, discussing some of the latest current events and how our past can teach us our future. On Wednesday, it's Ed Till, stand-up comedian and syndicated radio host of The Ed Till Show. Plus, on Thursday, it's Eric Mitchell, a GOP military and political analyst. It's all right here on The Voice of Reason, broadcasting only on the Hoosier Media Network. For more information on the show, visit our social media sites or go to our website at HoosierReason.com. It's been a long, fun, nerve-wracking, and exciting journey to relaunch the program as an independent entity. Now we've launched our very own Hoosier Media Network to give you more content, more shows, more talk, on even many more different topics as well. We now have full reign to help fight for constitutional principles, traditional values, and even just individual improvement. But we need your help to reach more people. If you own a business or you want to help the show in any way, we're excited to work with our partners to take your message and ours to the next level. Together we can educate, entertain, and bring wisdom and information to those who want it and to those who possibly need it. Let's fight for what's right together. Email us today at HoosierMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Again, if you're a business owner looking to get your brand out or someone that just wants to help support the cause, we want to support you and support that cause as well. Email us at HoosierMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Again, HoosierMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Also, for more information, content on the show, or to reach us as well, go to HoosierReason.com. Again, HoosierReason.com. Hey, it's Andy Hoosier with The Voice of Reason. I know it's a lot, but make sure to join us and follow us on all the social media platforms you use for all your updates. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Minds.com, Instagram, you name it, we're on it. Just search Hoosier Reason on all the platforms. Watch live shows, information about the show, the latest chat about current events, and more. Just search Hoosier Reason on any of your favorite social media sites and keep some reason in your day. It's kind of the reasonable thing to do. It's The Voice of Reason all over social media. Hey, it's Andy Hoosier. Whether you watch the show or not, make sure to check out our daily feature every day on all of our social media platforms, plus broadcasted daily on KGPT TV in Wichita, Kansas. It's your daily commentary on current events statewide, nationally, and more, discussing topical issues, constitutional debates, your moment of satire, and a lot more. For information or to follow us each and every day, go to HoosierReason.com and follow us on all of our social media sites, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Minds.com, and Instagram, all at Hoosier Reason. It's a minute of reason that you need in your life each day. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do.
You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
Absolutely crazy how fast this show goes when you're having fun, right? Time flies when you're having fun, and we definitely have more fun than what we should be each and every day. Welcome back into the Voice of Reason as we have about, 15 minutes left of the program. And again, thanks for hanging out with us here on a Tuesday. I know that you're probably just waiting in anticipation or maybe already watching the Democrat presidential debate, right? Yeah. Are you excited? I'm excited.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
6 of the candidates on stage today. As here's the question. Ed, our guest today is Ed Waters, host of the podcast Dead America. You can visit him online at deadamerica.website, and you can check it out. Ed, who do you think is going to be the focus of attention tonight? Is it going to be Donald Trump, or is it going to be the leaders of the polling right now, which is a little bit of Pete Buttigieg as he gains some traction, Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden? I mean, are they going to be the focus, or is it going to be just let's find new ways to hate on Donald Trump?
Well, Donald Trump has been the attention for the last several years, and I imagine he's going to maintain that record for quite some time to come.
Yeah, well, that's very true. All right, so we teased right before the break. I wanted to ask, because sometimes it's depressing thinking about the numbers, and sometimes I can't think about them because it bothers me. But when we talk about the amount of debt that we're in, $23 trillion as a nation, $23 trillion, we brought in more money than we had ever brought in last year, and even quarter by quarter. When it comes to taxes, shocker, you actually get more money when more people are working and you lower taxes, so that way more people have more money in their pocket and they can spend more money, which allows the government to actually increase. You got to find that happy medium on the bell curve that some just don't grasp. We brought in more money per quarter than ever before in this nation, and we still spent more than we brought in. Are we done and over as a nation? We just haven't realized it. Or is our nation salvageable right now, and can we bring it back from the brink? Because right now, a lot of people feel hopeless, which is why they don't get involved in politics. They don't try to vote. They think every politician is just corrupt. They don't like any of them. They don't want to even be part of the system. They put on their blinders, they close their eyes, and they go la, 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 because they don't want to hear it. Is it able to be saved, or do we just have to start preparing for the next stage of life, whatever that may be?
Oh no, America is strong. America is the best country on earth. This planet needs America, and every nation knows that. We push freedom around the world. We are the beacon of hope. We light the world. And these Democrats keep on pushing this, oh, woe's me syndrome. Don't believe that. You're an American. Pick up your pants straps, put on your boots, and get to work. It's going to take a lot, but be American proud. Americans always answer the call, and this is a call. We don't need 4 more years of Democrats.
Sure.
We need to stay the course. We need firm resolve. And we need Donald Trump right now with this man's business satire and his knowledge. We need Donald Trump. He's going to carry this nation into places we haven't seen for many, many years. So, yeah, I have great hopes for America. We've got great men and women on the front lines doing their duty without worrying about Democrat, Republican.
Sure.
They are American, and we need that attitude more. I am American, not Asian American, African American.
Sure.
Think American.
No.
We are proud. We are the ones to do this.
Absolutely. Amen to that one. I mean, the hyphenated American really does create that division that many of the progressives want. And as I've mentioned throughout the last couple of shows, it's not going to be the external force, Iran, Russia, Ukraine, whoever it may be that tries to bring us down. No outside force can bring it down. It's going to be us from within that's going to be the one to say, hey, there's a serious issue and we need to address this and fix it. And we always seem to go to like right to the brink, where we're like, we hear this every political season. This is the one that means more than anything else in the world. This is the most important election you'll ever have. We hear this every single election, but it really is true. And that's why people rose up and voted for someone like Donald Trump, even with all of his issues, even with all of his weaknesses, even things that may annoy a lot of people with his Twitter account or whatever. We rose up because we realized we needed to do this because it was a now or never situation. As you mentioned, we rise up, and when we get called to do so, we make stuff happen and we make sure it gets done right.
Amen. That's right. And I believe in that. I think we are going to take a big blow, that's for sure, to get things set right.
Sure.
With the amount of money that is extended out in obligations, we need some heavy load reduction. And I think we've got the man inside the White House that can get that done for us. There's going to be some heavy cuts, and we need to accept that. Let's do this. That's all I can say. Hey, let's do this.
No, that's absolutely. Now, here's the big question: is when we talk about those massive cuts, because I'm right there with you. I get sick thinking about the federal budget when 60% of it is really on autopilot in the mandatory spending category, where we don't touch it, we don't look at it. It grows 3, 4, 5, 6% every single year. And when you talk about cutting it, then you are the worst human being on the face of the earth, because you want people to die literally in the streets, according to Democrats. When it comes to the 60% of the federal budget that is Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, WIC, and all of the food stamps, all the social programs that are there, we cannot sustain what's going on. We need to reform them, whether it's going private sector, whether it's doing a transition. I don't know what the answer is, and maybe you can help us. I don't know what it is, but that is going to bankrupt us. And if we're going to do the heavy lifting and actually take a hit, then that's what we have to hit, isn't it? We have to hit these programs.
Yes, that's true, Andy. And, I could do a full program just on this. The welfare system is out of control, and you've got professionals that are really making that happen. We've got to make these cuts, and we are seeing abuses to the system, and people are not caring. I was in the parking lot the other day, and a young man walked up to me trying to sell his food stamps to us.
Wow.
And when we've got young men that are physically able to do a job and they've got a food stamp card and they're out there trying to sell them for whatever habit they're doing, we've got to put a mandatory stop on this.
Sure.
And it's going to be hard, but it's got to be done. I know there is a need for this social help, but that should be with the church, not the state. And that is where we need to get back to in order to prosper into a good future for many, many more generations to come.
Sure.
Cuts are hard, but they have to happen.
Well, it's crazy. That's the way it used to be. It used to be if you were sick, if you needed food, if you needed shelter, you went to the church, and the church was able to do that. Now, when you talk about charity, and by the way, the people in the community realized that, and they donated to the church, or they did the program through the church and created an initiative in the local community. Why is it that now all of a sudden, when we think we want to, quote-unquote, do something to help, we have to say, let's start a program through the federal government, tax everybody, force them to give charity, which is not charity when it's forced taxation, and then say, look, we're actually trying to help somebody. Like, I don't understand that when you could just go out and do it yourself. Is it the wannabe helpers? Do they just not understand? I don't know. But you're right. The charity used to be through the church, and we still have that, but that's not the focus of attention at the national scene anymore.
Yes, that's correct. And we really need to get a big push back to that. And, I really think Donald Trump is the man to do this. Early on in his presidency, they were talking about doing the food box and cutting those food stamps. Let's do that.
Sure.
I think that's a wonderful idea. The Mormon Church, they have a wonderful program that they call the storehouse. And the way they operate, we should look into that for our charity purposes. If we're going to do it social, don't let these people have a food stamp card to go buy candy bars, popcorn, sodas. That's not nutritional. That's not healthy for our body, which is not healthy for our brain. And we are going to kill our youth. Mm-hmm. We need to think about what we are doing.
Well, not only that, let's take it to the next level there for a second, shall we? I mean, if you have social programs to where you're buying the candy and the popcorn and the soda and all this other garbage, and you're clogging your arteries, you're making yourself sick, then they say, that's not my responsibility. I don't know why I'm sick. I need socialized health care because I can't afford the medical bills because I need a triple bypass because I ate too much garbage. I don't know why that's my responsibility because you had bad health habits. Like, where's that line drawn between this is your responsibility? Now, obviously, some people have diseases, cancer, and stuff that they have no control over. But when you have a triple bypass because you've ate nothing but Doritos your entire life, nothing against them because I love Doritos, which is why I need to lose weight myself, I don't understand why that's my responsibility through my tax money.
That's right. That's right. And it all comes down to personal responsibility, owning up to your responsibility. That is where we need to get back to. Thomas Paine and common sense. Maybe we need a little more common sense in America.
Man, that's crazy. What a concept. More common sense and personal responsibility in America as well. Talk about your podcast a little bit. We got a few minutes left of the show before we have to wrap up here, but talk about Dead America. You're starting, season 2 this year, correct?
Yeah, we just started season 2 of Dead America. What we do with Dead America is we find different historical figures. We highlight them, like we just did Abraham Lincoln, as you mentioned. I've got a lot coming on the plate for Dead America. We just try to hit where people are feeling dead and forgotten. So we need to revive history so people remember it, so they can get back on board and understand where we should be and why we should be. And that's the focus of Dead America, is to bring awareness and unity back to America. We're not forgotten. We're not dead. We should be proud. We should be loud and stand up for it. That's America.
That is America. I love it. In the history part of it, to learn from our mistakes, to understand what happened in history, and not to repeat that kind of stuff is so important. I absolutely love that's one of my nerd out points, is learning a history and American history to try and move forward and understand what we've done all the way from the Revolution to now. I mean, let's look at the Pilgrims, for example. When they went from going from the commune area, everybody's together, everybody shares their goods, to actual private property, that's when they began to flourish, because they were dying off, and we might not be here if they didn't change their way of life, going from a communistic mentality to a capitalist, laissez-faire, I have private property thoughts. They would have died because they were struggling and they had trouble. So learning these types of historical facts can make the light pop on and say, wait a second, Bernie Sanders and his whole garbage of free healthcare, free education, free this, free that, free everything, maybe I should second guess this. I mean, there was, what was it, a city councilman in Denver, a lady that just got elected to the city council of the city of Denver, had talked about she absolutely 100% disagreed vehemently with private property and should have the city be allowed to consume any property they wanted to in the city, because she is a communist and did not believe that someone should have private property rights. That she believed that. She openly said it and openly got elected into the city council of Denver. That's kind of a problem that I think should raise a lot of red flags in the country.
Yes, it is. Private title and the pride of ownership It's something that every American and those that wants to immigrate properly into America look forward to. And it's something to strive to. It's what keeps a balance within the haves and the have-nots. So to have that private title is very unique.
Sure.
And when it came into being, we saw things start going well, and it hasn't stopped since. And a lot of dictators out there don't like what's going on in America, so we need to keep it strong, keep it proud, and learn history.
Hey, amen to that. I love it. It's Ed Waters. Dead America is the podcast. DeadAmerica.website. DeadAmerica.website. You can listen to him and track all that stuff. Ed, we got to get you back on the show because this has been absolutely a blast. I love it. There's a lot of stuff that we can talk about, especially in reference to history, and I want to do that again here. So we got to get you back on the show again real soon.
Anytime, Andy. It's a pleasure being with you. I really enjoy what you do, and we need more people like you out there doing what it takes to get it done.
Hey,
Thank you for having me on the show, Andy.
Hey, I appreciate it, bro. Well, one last question before we let you go. Who's going to win the presidential debate tonight?
Nobody?
Donald Trump, right? He's going to, yeah.
Donald Trump, yes.
Yeah,
There
he's
you
going to
go.
win that
Bing,
one.
bing.
I love it. Ed, it's good to talk to you, my friend. We'll get you back on the show again real soon. That does it for us, man. We're out of time. I can't believe it goes by so fast. We're going to do this again tomorrow. Guess that. Tomorrow, Ed Till, host of the Ed Till Show. He's a nationally syndicated radio host, also stand-up comedian. I was on his program last week and looking forward to him coming on the program tomorrow. He'll be joining us live at 7 p.m. here on The Voice of Reason, so make sure to stay tuned in for that one. For everybody that's been watching all over social media, we appreciate it very much. One more time, go to HoosierReason.com, sign up, become a Hoosier-holic. Follow us on there. Follow us on all of the social media at Hoosier Reason on Facebook, on Twitter, on Twitch, Minds.com, all that good jazz. You can follow us there. Go onto the YouTube page and also subscribe to that. We had a lot of people tune in on the Podbean live stream as well. More and more people jumping on there each and every time. So thank you for that. Is like this is the third time that we've actually done that, so it's brand new and we're really excited about it. So until then, everybody keep up the fight. Maybe go watch the Democrat debate a little bit just to see the insanity, because they are
Special!
just a little bit, right? Until then, as always, this is your show. It's time to speak up, speak out, speak loud, speak proud, speak the truth, and always speak some reason. This is The Voice of Reason here on the Hoosier Media Network.